Welcome back. We're here with Grady and Tiesha, and we're talking about all kinds of cool stuff that's happening in Raleigh. A lot of it I don't think a lot of people knew about, but you can get involved, so it's kind of exciting. Well, let's talk. We left off a little bit about the exchange, but I am kind of curious about the decision-making power, because they do have power. The neighborhoods, people have power. We seem to forget that sometimes. And I was looking at your website, and all of the things you guys are involved in. I mean, it really blew my mind. It's not just like parks and trails. I mean, you're talking drainage ditch, things that actually matter to a neighborhood. So tell me how that works.
Yeah, it works a lot of different ways. There's the opportunity for neighborhoods to get involved in redevelopment that may be coming to the neighborhood. Developers have community meetings where they want to hear from the members of that community about what they like about the proposed plan, what they don't like about that plan. If we use that same example, those same residents can even go to city council themselves during a public hearing, and they can tell council, you know, I love this or I hate it, and here's why. They can do that multiple times, and that's just on something new coming to their neighborhood. Once a month or twice a month, the city also has what we call our public comment period, where residents can come to a council meeting and talk about almost anything that they want their elected officials to know about, to hear about, to learn about. And a lot of people actually don't know that exists. We utilize, obviously, technology. There's tons of surveys online that people can participate in. Something that I think is also underutilized are our boards and commissions. And so that's when the city, I think we have over 15 of them, everything from parks to cemeteries, community engagement, human relations. I mean, tons of boards and commissions with the vacancies that are wanting volunteers to come and participate and help contribute to decision making.
Let me ask you though, does it work? I mean, I've butted heads with the city many times, not this particular, but just in general. Oftentimes they're not receptive to listening to the people. So how has the response been with you guys doing this? Has it worked?
I'll say I've seen plenty of examples where it works. And I always remind people that just because your anticipated outcome wasn't the one that they went with, didn't mean that you weren't heard.
That's a good point.
And I think sometimes we confuse engagement with, I said A, they did B, and so they didn't listen to me. And it's like, well, they heard you, but there were probably 100 other people that said A as well. And they just had to arrive at a decision, because that's, you know, what you elect people to do, is to make decisions. So I would say it absolutely works, yes.
And I also will say that our city is very serious about engagement, and we have leaders in places and positions that take that very seriously. And so, you know, unfortunately, a lot of municipalities, including Raleigh, have had past experiences where we didn't listen. And so now we take that to be very serious when we talk about decisions that are made. You know, I think there is a concept of I am because we are. And because of that, we utilize that mindset to make sure that people's voices are heard. Like Tiesha is saying, that it's not always yes, but there is ways in which we make sure we know what it is that you're looking for.
I heard you say, it may have been off camera, that Raleigh's a smart city. Well, I think you're right about that. I think they try to be cutting edge in all kinds of different ways. Well, but explain.
So one of the cool things about our city is that we recognize that, you know, we are, we're a hub for technology. And so we use a lot of new and creative ways as a municipality to make sure we staying engaged with our public. You know, from our fire department, from our police department, for our park system, and the list goes on. Because we recognize, you know, the way a lot of people get their information is through their phones now. You know, where back in the day, people would sit down at 6 o'clock and look at the evening news. It doesn't work that way anymore. And so what we've done is we've played catch up in making sure that we stay engaged with our public. Also making sure that we make things easier for our public, you know. And so, and that's one, you know, that's one of the cool things about our technology.
Seems Raleigh is also very engaged with trying to make it I don't know, improving the quality of life overall. I mean, they tend to embrace outdoor activity, for instance, like bikes and so that lifestyle that they embrace is something that I think is probably driving a lot of people to this area.
Absolutely.
But are you guys on board with that? I mean, some of your projects seems to be that you are.
Yeah, I think it's something that just personally I've always took for granted just because I grew up here.
Yeah.
And so I'll tell people, you know, I'm from Raleigh, and they'll be like, you went to college here? I'm like, no, I was born here. And they say, well, I moved here because of your park system. It's amazing. And I'm like, is it? Oh, yeah, it is. It's really great. And then I see how the city, to your point, has programs, engagement, conversation, policies to support that type of lifestyle.
But this is another great area for people who may not care about X, but Y over here.
Right.
Yeah.
They can get involved, and they do actually listen because they've invested a lot of money in things like that.
Absolutely.
So don't be discouraged.
And the public always passes bonds.
Yeah, the parks bond.
The parks bonds never fail.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, and it's a test to the fact that people really think of it as being very important.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, there are other aspects of the city that impact our lives, and we're going to get into that in the next segment. You know, things like transportation, and it's not boring stuff, but it is things that people, again, if you are in a neighborhood and want to get together, it is amazing what you accomplish. I'm so glad you're with us. And
Thank you.
don't go away. We'll be right back.